the game. And well, it's kinda unexpected. It's not Landomat, it's Arena. So TKs actually are feeling kind of best in a more protected environment. Alright, so I haven't seen Arena a whole lot of times in the last matches, and this stone is around the gold is kinda unfortunate that it's not inside the walls, but at the same time it's near his teammate, so looking how Saga is actually pocket, it's not really any problem at all. Looking at another gold here, and looking at the civilizations, we have Saga, Spanish, Vinch, Turks, Dogao, Persians, and against them we have Mayan, Askerch, Shuis, Aztec, and Mortius, Spanish. So that's actually quite a lot of different teams. Only the Spanish are the same, and otherwise this should be a really unorthodox game. Usually you see a bit more mirroring there, but that's not happening here. So let's have a look around the bases here. The first to have a look at is Saga as a host, having pretty good hunt and double bore. Right now interested in actually gathering wood right here. We already talked about this gold outside of his base, otherwise the map is pretty much okay. Stone right outside, the same could be said for Dogao, who is having also a lot of gold just outside his base together with the relic. So that's a pretty sweet spot right there for his base. Otherwise, boar inside and hunt inside as well. And where's the second boar? Alright, just inside. Kinda made it clearing inside the woods here to actually stay inside the walls. So that's a nice base for a red. And the last one to have a look at from WolfpacK is Winch, who is also having some gold outside. His hunt is outside together with boar, so that's going to be a bit of a problem, but not that much. He's probably going to just delete the wall here and lure it in very safely and easily. Otherwise, kind of gate to nowhere. Stone reasonably safe, gold okay. And another go outside and boar as well. So it seems like WolfpacK Winch actually lost the lottery here for the worst base. He's having a lot of outside of his base and yeah, having to lure everything in. Yeah, that didn't work out, did it? So he has to actually delete the wall and get him inside. But it's not like that's going to be too much of a problem in the early game or even later game. You can see that the relics are kind of funnily placed in some kind of belt, like Orion's belt, across the map. So that's very nice indeed. And also you can see right now that Village has just found his first opponent, and that's Shuis. So let's have a look at this map. He has all the hunt inside, right now opting to go for a mill, and we heard that gates are being locked. Yeah, so that those Willies and this guy, this Eagle Warrior, doesn't by any chance or mistake actually leave this guy in. That would be pretty bad. And this is well, this is very curious. You don't really see this all that often. That's kind of weird extension of the base with double stone and gold being divided by the wilds by just one line of trees. This is really seriously curious. You don't really see this all that often, and let's see how much of an advantage it is going to be. I'm not really thinking it is going to be to any advantage to Shuis. It's going to be much more advantage to Winch actually. So yeah, that's going to be pretty important, I think, later on. And we see boar inside, and second one is already being butchered, so it was at some pretty sweet spot. Gold alright. And yeah, all this really does is supply Shuis with some extra safe mining, but is he going to be safe? I'm not really thinking so. He's going to be having to build an extra wall, probably outside, to actually protect this, because otherwise it's going to be too easily abusable through some archers, or even getting through by some easy woodcutting, or even some siege managers if it comes down to that. Pocket for TK is Kerchland Eitras as a Mayan, so that's not really bad. Already butchering the second pick, otherwise his base is reasonably safe. Nice gold and stone, and second gold as well. And you can see that he's already trying to actually get the deer inside the base. And it went just the right moment there. So that's a pretty good job. And unfortunately, just as well as it did go inside the hole, it didn't really listen and went outside the base. So yeah, that's the work wasted for catch 28 Ras. And right now you can see that the deer is protesting and not going into the same spot for the second time in a row. But right now will it? Ah, right now it is. Alright, so with a bit of extra effort, it's actually in. And we have a time to actually look at some of the extra gold that is outside his base between him and his teammate Dark Mortius. That's a lot of gold and reasonably safe. This stone, yeah, it's okay as well. But this gold is really reasonably safe to defend. You can just build some kind of reasonable wall from here. You don't even need a wall, it's just easy to defend. And otherwise, you can see that yellow, right now, the first one DK to advance into feudal, just a bit behind Dugal, is getting stone and gold just next to the wall. And at the same time, next gold is also safe. He went for a mill for the berries here, and he's also trying to actually make his deer to go closer to the TC so that he doesn't have to build another mill. And this deer is also unruly and not listening to the master. Oh yeah, choosing a bit farther to go. Anyway, the base is otherwise kinda reasonably safe, although I wouldn't want to be lying, but I would say there's a way around. There just might be a way around actually this wall. I'm not exactly sure I'm positive about that, but I kinda think there is, which means this might come back to bite him if he's not realizing this is the case. And really, this map has played some really strange jokes on TK with this and this kind of bowling. Well, anyway, let's just have a look at what the guy is doing as the first one to advance into feudal. And just as Jenstian is saying in the chat, it might really be happening, the Spanish will rush from Saga, because he already played it in the group stage, so I wouldn't really put it above him to play it again. But right now Dogao is here and, well, interested in Castle Age, and right now he's going as a first for that, so it's going to be pretty fast for him. And Saga right now going quite slower into feudal with 26 villagers. Oh, he's not really all that fast, but still, yeah, I'm not really thinking it's going to matter all that much. Right now in his base, he's just having a bit of farms, getting a bit of extra stone to actually help his boom, and market and blacksmith. Alright, so that's pretty much the same strategy. And right now we can just say anything that's going to happen. So pretty much everybody playing the same, even though you could say that Vange is right now playing for a bit more boom. And he's probably going for some faster Imperial. As for Turk, it's not really a bad strategy. It's really good, as you can have some pretty good Janissaries, and they are really strong in Imperial if they get there fast and in a good state. Otherwise, I'm not really seeing anything extra special from anyone, just everyone going for the castle, which is usual on this map. You don't really see all that many feudal fights, because, yeah, you're protected by the walls, so you wouldn't really expect anything bad to happen. And you can see a lot of stone being gathered from Yellow, who is Spanish, and that also means and tells you that he's definitely going for the conquistadors and the castles, and he's going to be needing a lot of that. He also somehow got into the base of Red. Right now his scout is going to die, I think. Or is he? Oh, he isn't. So that's just the one one extra attack that actually kept him alive, and right now he will be having a free reign of Red's base, having a nice look around. You can see that right now Dogao is building his second TC. Kinda thinking that's going to be the same for pretty much everybody right now, going for the second TCs. And Dogao right now saying that he must leave, so he just needs his opponents, or rather co-players, to actually play fast and kill the opponents fast. So let's have a look if that's going to be it. Or what was it actually? Maybe it was for this. Yep. Rush is confirmed from Saga. I maybe didn't notice it, especially in the earlier chat. I'm not exactly sure where it was sent, if it was now or not, but yeah, we know right now what's coming. It's going to be Spanish Will Rush from Saga. So let's see how actually good is that going to be. and if they are overestimating or rather underestimating TK or not. For sure, that's going to be a surprise for TKs. And we can see that right now Winch is actually trying to protect this base, where he had to delete the wall to actually get some of the hunt in. But otherwise, you just see some standard units, some stables and barracks here. So he's preparing to actually help his teammates. So stables, that's going to be for the Hussars, because Turks have good upgrades on those for free, if I remember correctly. And well, otherwise not much interesting, so I'm just going to check into the game room if this isn't maybe another drop, which would be kind of unfortunate. So far I can see everybody in the game, so it shouldn't be, it should be just a pause. And yeah, it was just a pause, and right now Yellow is having his tour of the red base, and right now discovering that the third TC from Dogao is being built, so it's going to be triple TC boom as is usual. As for others being in castle, that's who? Just Dart Mortius, so that's what, castle being dropped as a Spanish, that's expected to actually protect his gold. And I'm still kind of thinking that he's unaware this is possible through. I'm really thinking it is. I'm pretty much positive about it, looking at the lay of the land here. And that's going to be a pretty nasty surprise if he doesn't actually build a wall here. Otherwise, we see some other players advancing into castle, and another castle is being dropped by Mayans, which is also pretty expected, and it's a defensive one, so he's not really interested in protecting something like this stone or gold, placing this castle here. And otherwise, Orange is in as well. Yeah, he is. And is he building some extra town centers, or what is he going for? He seems to be going for some monk rush as Aztec, well, monk rush. Just some extra monks, which is a viable strategy as an Aztec. Still not going for second TC yet, but I'm not really thinking that's going to be all that far behind. Right now you can see that Vinch is very well aware of what's going to happen. So he's going to be supplying some extra info to the opponents, or rather allies, on what's going to happen. And yeah, just now trying to take the value, and he did. He just killed quite a lot of resources with the scout, so it was kind of unfortunate for Shu is actually to discover this at this point, but at the same time he actually stole the scout, so that's 1 for 1 and not that bad. And how's it looking in Saga's base? Right now he's going for second TC, third as well, instead of his wall, so he's just going for all the town centers for his village rush. That's for TC as well. So where are we going to begin? When are we going to begin? I think the time is getting very near. And is he going to get some support from his teammates? You can right now see that Winch is still at just 1 TCs, going for some extra army, and yeah, just a bit of scouts, rather light cavalry right now, and it's going to be helping quite immensely, because he knows that Shuis was preparing to go for some extra Aztec priests, and that's not going to be really enough, because light cavalry is pretty good against them. And yeah, way through is open, and that means goodbye valued experience. So good job Wolfpack Wincher on that. And we also see some wolf train here. So yeah, yeah, this is not really going all that well for TKs, when actually Winch is right now getting some extra help from the wolfies here. So yeah, that's this, and there's going to be a double here. And Siege Workshop being dropped, so TK are actually aiming to go so far for some really early aggression. Castle has been dropped by Winch, and we can expect some nice Janissaries from there cropping up. And yeah, those should be really strong. If he can amass a lot of them, that's going to be quite a decent army to actually supply and support his light cavalry. And not even those plumed archers are going to be enough against that. On the Emin's side, we can see just some extra town centers being popped to actually supply all the more buildings to actually pump out some of the villagers for the village rush. And what Red is right now doing? He's going for 40C boom, so that's a pretty decent one, trying to outboom his opponents. You can see that he's leading in score by 110, 120, which is a pretty good. Pretty good one. And we can still see that yellow is still having the open base, and he's right now having how many TCs? Just two, together with the castle. And is he going for some raiding? Yeah, he is. And he's actually pretty interested in going inside Red's base. You can see the petards here. You can see the petards here, and no, this is just the second map, and that's Arena, and the third map is going to be something that WolfpacK choose, and I'm thinking it's going to be Arabia from them, because that's usually what high skilled players actually choose. And yeah, you can right now see that Dogao is a bit surprised by the turn of the events, and it's going to cost them a few willies here, because this raid is pretty good, and yeah, pretty strong against the willies, and plumes are coming in as well, so that's really unexpected for Dogao, and he's going to be surprised. And I'm not exactly sure if guys from WolfpacK have some reasonable answer for that, because Saga is going for a willy rush, and I'm not exactly sure that willies are going to be all that great against all this artillery power. And at the bottom you can see that, yeah, those Janissaries are actually not good enough as they are being converted, and well, these Rams are actually doing a pretty good job. So I'm kinda thinking that WolfpacK underestimated TK on this map pretty badly, and right now they will have to fight for it quite strongly. You can see that the wall is down, and right now it will be a very important step to go to actually take down the castle, because once it's down you can see that Winch doesn't have anything else, and right now there's a lot of army here, so come on, Chuis. Winch is for the taking here. Just continue and you'll be good to go. Yeah, so the strategy for this Aztec is going pretty well. Those priests are converting all the Janissaries and even the light cavalry that they need. And I'm not exactly sure why Shuis is not really going for this. I'm just gonna have a fog of war. He knows about the castle, so I'm not exactly sure why he isn't trying to put a stop to that. Maybe he's just aiming to actually steal all those guys. Could be it, but anyway, I'm just going to switch to the top, where Doga is right now trying to defend with the use of monks, which is a pretty good unit against conquistadors, together with some of these extra guys from the Mangonel department. And you can see also that the wall has been finished, and that's a bit of an oversight from Darth Mortius that he actually let that happen, because right now it means he can't send any reinforcements in, and it's just a matter of time before those guys are dead. Although it's still going to take a bit of time, because there's like 6 of them, and yeah, that's more than a nuisance still. Inside Purple's base, you can see that castle has been dropped to actually supply at least some conquistadors, and a whole ton of town centers are being prepared for the Willy Rush. A bit of conquistadors from yellow have been able to actually get into the base, and yeah, right now we'll be getting a few of the Willies. Although you can see that right now Saga is at 112 and still going for some extras, so that's going to be quite soon that these are going to change from gatherers into warmongers. Inside Teal's base you can see there's a lot of enemy army actually making an appearance, where blue has joined orange, and they're doing really well, TKs here. They are doing real well, and even though you can see that Vinch has been able to build a second castle, right now this will allow him to actually pump a whole lot of Janissaries extras. I'm not exactly sure he's having the right composition here against all those blooms together with a bit of siege and some monks, although those monks really need to be doing something like converting this unit, for example. Yeah, and this ram needs to be coming into the attack as well. But pretty good stranglehold by TK on WolfpacK right now, as they are really tanked and in Vinch's base. And how's it looking for Saga? Right now I think all of this hangs in the balance on Saga, and if he can actually execute this Willy Rush to perfection, he might be able to turn the game around kinda occasionally. But right now he's being discovered by this stray plumed archer from Kerch and Tetra, so that's a bit of lucky break from blue. And right now TK should be realizing what's going to happen when TC is being built inside in the middle of the map. That's absolutely clear sign what's going to happen. a bit of extra conquistadors actually trying to stop the building of this TC, but they might be just too late. Or not. Or not. Yeah, they are. They are, because you can see that Saga is actually microing quite well, and not the same could be said about yellow. And the TC is up, and that's one important point in actually getting the Will Rush going, and it is starting. Another extra TCs are being built. Castle from Dogao is built as well, and he'll be supplying some extra units from Persians, so I'm kind of thinking it might be even the elephants, why not? He's just building the castle more to protect the extra gold, to supply his opponents, god damn it, not opponents, allies, like Vinch, who I think might be being slunk a bit. I'm just going to switch into him. If he's being sent some resources from Dogao, as that wouldn't really be all that bad. And you can see that he's actually been able to amass quite a lot of Janissaries, and that's all he really needs to deal with the army. Janissaries' power is in the numbers, and once you actually amass a lot of them, they're very hard to take down, because they have huge range and even better attack, and they are actually pretty good even in taking down these siege weapons, as you can see. So this castle will be staying, and the numbers of Janissaries are coming up, and this is very bad news for DK. So even though they were kinda making their second home in the base of Vinch, right now they are being decidedly pulled out, and second wall is being built by Vinch, and yeah, right now this is a pretty decent army to actually go into offensive, and I'm expecting some extra trebuchets making appearance pretty soon, and that's going to be a bit of a problem for blue together with orange. Right now orange is not having enough army, he's building a castle actually there, and having some scouts, or rather scouts monks, but oh, he wasn't paying attention. He wasn't paying attention at all. That's kind of sad news. A bunch of monks actually being caught by light cavalry, not paying attention. That's kind of the worst kind of thing that can happen to you. And unfortunately for Orange, it happened to him. So rest in pieces, no monkeys. And you can see, oh yeah, fun is advancing on Yellow's base right now. So the Willy Rush is there. So let's see how it will actually work. You can see that blue is actually preparing for it with quite some blooms, and it might be a bit of a problem for Emin, although the sheer numbers that actually Emin can produce the Willies here, it should be enough. Yeah, right now you can see that first engagement of the Willies actually in the archers. It's not going to go all that well. But at the same time, yeah, the numbers could be there, especially if Dogao actually helps him. You can see a lot of resources being spent on the various upgrades right now. And Vinch is actually advancing into Imperial Age, so yeah, that's not going to be long before you actually see some extra siege like trebuchets from him. And yes, this castle is not going to be dropped by Mayans. And Emin is using everything he has at his disposal, and right now that's Bombard Towers, so that's Willy Rush with Bombard Towers, and Red is joining with some Cavaliers, which is exactly the unit that Emin needs to protect his Willys against those pesky plumed archers. The numbers from the plumed archers are actually getting pretty high. So Dogao should supply a bit more of them if he actually wants to help his teammate reasonably well, and it seems like, yeah, the numbers are there. So how's it looking for yellow? Ooh, oh, he's definitely preparing. He's preparing with a lot of archery ranges together with barracks. And how's it looking here? Okay, hand cannoneers. That's not really a bad idea, although he is pretty terribly housed at 100. That's not exactly something he wanted. And how's it looking at the bottom? It seems like Orange was able to actually stop Vinch's onslaught, and Vinch just decided to actually buy this time and actually wait for the Imperial Age and the elite Janissaries, and I think the extra siege. Yeah, you can see the siege workshop, and once he actually feels satisfied, he's going to be attacking in there. And alright, Cavaliers has just turned into Paladins, and Dogao is making his presence count, just disrupting the stone gathering for the Mayan, which is important as no more castles will be dropped. Although it's not like he needs an extra, he already has 4, which is more than enough. But oh, huge amount of Phillies is coming in. And castles won't be really staying for long, because as you know, villagers have a pretty good attack. have a pretty good attack against buildings, and together with those nice paladins getting rid of those pesky Mayan archers, that's going to be it for this blue army and blue castles. So that's a pretty decent attack here. One castle down. And we'll just be moving into another one. Alright, so that's this. And how's it looking up top? Is Emin actually trying to get inside the bases here? Oh yeah, he is. And the sheer amount of the bombard towers and literally everything here is going to be is going to be pretty fun indeed. You can see that the bombard towers are just being built and these walls are breached. So the next bombard tower is going to be built inside yellow's base. Another castle down for blue, and this one will be next in line. And also you can see another bombard tower being here to block actually the gold here. And up top there's a bit of yellow army, and he's not actually interested in defending at all. He's right now actually trying to get through the gates into red's base. He doesn't really need to, because there's room to go through, and I'm not exactly sure that's the correct course of action, because there's nothing to do there, and he's definitely not going to be faster without any siege than actually making all the damage in the bases here. And right now, first bombard tower in the yellow base is almost finished, and it is, and yeah, and even bombard cannons make an appearance from yellow, but that's not going to be enough, I'm afraid, for the yellow guy. On the bottom, you can see that Binge is right now comfortable with his army, and yeah, the extra siege together with trebuchets are making an appearance in Orange's forward base, together with extra support from some paladins from Dogao, and this is definitely not looking great for TK. So right now he's building in his barracks, but yeah, he unfortunately let a bit of paladins inside, which is something he did not want. And another squad of paladins is very intent in getting in, and they won't be held out for long. Alright, so this is pretty strong push from Winch on the right side, supported by Dogao, and on the middle you can see that yeah, the will rush together with the bombard towers is really going strong, and blue is having all kinds of troubles actually dealing with this. Even though the trebuchet here is going to take care of those bombard towers, I'm not thinking it's going to be fast enough. And yeah, another bombard tower has been built in yellow's base, and yellow is slowly but surely losing grip on his own base, even though he's trying to actually go inside red, which he did, but you can see the sheer numbers of the brutally boomed Dogao right now at 107 VDs with a lot of resources and a lot of upgrades just switching to Dogao. Yeah, you can see the amount of resources, and he's at full pop more or less, and the sheer amount of paladins is pretty brutal against even the onslaught of halberdiers. And we can see that WolfpacK are winning as TK are right now tapping GG, and this was a pretty interesting game right near the end. Not much happening in the first minutes, obviously, on Arena, but then it just escalated out of any control for TK, and yes, the will rush worked with a ton of bombard towers. Alright, GG. You don't see this very often. So let's look at the achievements. You can see that Dogao was definitely the MVP. He was having the strongest echo and all that. Units killed, yeah, definitely the paladins were doing quite well. And economy pretty strong from Saga, as you would expect with his boom into the Willy Rush. But otherwise, Dogao winning almost everything in technology stats. It just was having a bit slower Imperial time, otherwise he was just literally winning everything. That's a pretty good job by him. And Villager High, WolfpacK Saga, 198. Alright. Yeah, that's that. 198. Oh my. Oh my.
No.
You can see
Yes.
almost no dark color, so almost no army whatsoever. Just all the villages. Alright, GG.